Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we bring you a breaking story that could reshape the balance of power in the Middle East. Reports say Israel is continuing a new wave of airstrikes on Iran, this time targeting one of the country's most critical nuclear facilities. The strikes, described by officials as precision operations, mark a dramatic escalation in an already volatile situation. Multiple intelligence sources and satellite images confirm explosions near the central Iranian city of Natanz, home to one of Iran's most secretive underground nuclear enrichment complexes. The site, fortified under layers of rock and concrete, has long been a symbol of Iran's nuclear ambitions. But if these reports are true, Israel has now taken direct aim at what Tehran considers its most valuable strategic asset. According to early information, Israeli F-35 stealth jets launched coordinated night raids, flying deep into Iranian airspace under the cover of electronic jamming. Eyewitnesses on the ground described massive explosions, power outages, and sirens echoing across the region. Some reports even suggest that key centrifuge halls where uranium is enriched may have been damaged or destroyed. Iranian state media initially denied the attacks, but soon after, emergency convoys were seen rushing toward the Natanz complex. Security forces have reportedly sealed off the area, while rescue teams continue to search through rubble and underground tunnels. Tehran's silence, experts say, is an attempt to prevent panic and avoid admitting a major security breach. For Israel, however, this marks the latest chapter in what appears to be a sustained campaign of preemptive strikes aimed at crippling Iran's nuclear capability. In recent months, Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, have repeatedly warned that Iran's enrichment program has reached red line levels and that time for diplomacy has run out. Behind closed doors, Israeli intelligence officials have described the operation as part of a broader strategy known as Shadow Flame, a series of covert and overt actions designed to slow Iran's nuclear progress without triggering full-scale war. Sources claim these strikes were not isolated. Over the last 48 hours, explosions have also been reported near Isfahan and Fordow, both key sites in Iran's nuclear infrastructure network. In Isfahan, a missile storage depot was allegedly hit, while Fordow, built deep beneath a mountain, reportedly suffered communications blackouts. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has vowed a swift and crushing response, though it remains unclear what form that might take. Analysts believe Tehran may respond through cyber attacks, proxy militias in Syria and Lebanon, or attempts to strike Israeli assets abroad. Meanwhile, in Washington, the White House has confirmed that it was not notified in advance of Israel's latest strikes. U.S. officials have expressed deep concern over the potential fallout, warning that the region could spiral into an all-out war if the attacks continue. European leaders have echoed those fears, urging both sides to de-escalate. However, the situation on the ground tells a different story, one of growing confrontation, increasing tension, and the possibility of direct conflict between Israel and Iran, for the first time in modern history. For decades, Israel has viewed Iran's nuclear ambitions as an existential threat. The memory of past wars, combined with Tehran's calls for Israel's destruction, has fueled a policy of preemption. The logic is simple: strike before being struck. But this time, the stakes are higher than ever. Iran's nuclear program has advanced significantly since the collapse of the 2015 nuclear deal. Western intelligence estimates suggest that Tehran now has enough enriched uranium for multiple nuclear warheads, a red line Israel cannot ignore. Tonight's attacks, if confirmed, could represent a decisive turning point not only in the Israel-Iran standoff, but in the global balance of power. Military analysts say the precision and depth of these latest strikes suggest that Israel used advanced bunker-busting munitions, possibly supplied or jointly developed with the United States. The fact that Israeli jets could reach deep into Iranian airspace undetected points to advanced electronic warfare capabilities, technologies that can disable radar systems, jam communications, and confuse missile defense networks. For Iran, The immediate challenge is both physical and psychological. Its nuclear program has long been a source of national pride, proof that Iran could stand against Western pressure and build an independent defense system. A successful Israeli strike would not only damage infrastructure, but also deliver a severe blow to morale. In Tehran, government-controlled television has begun airing patriotic songs and statements of resilience, while Iranian officials vow revenge at a time and place of our choosing. Yet, according to Western analysts, Iran's military options are limited. Direct confrontation with Israel could provoke devastating retaliation, while indirect responses through proxies risk triggering new regional wars. Already, reports from southern Lebanon suggest that Hezbollah has begun mobilizing units along the Israeli border. In Iraq, Shiite militias aligned with Iran have gone on alert. And in Yemen, the Houthi movement, another Iranian ally, has threatened to strike Israeli targets in the Red Sea. Israel, meanwhile, has placed its air defense systems on high alert, including the Iron Dome, Arrow, and David Sling systems, anticipating potential retaliatory missile or drone attacks. Civil defense drills have been announced in several Israeli cities, and the Israeli Air Force remains on standby for further operations. The Israeli government has not officially commented on the latest attacks, maintaining its usual policy of ambiguity regarding operations inside Iran. However, in a statement earlier today, Prime Minister Netanyahu said, "Israel will do whatever is necessary to ensure that Iran never obtains nuclear weapons." This statement, analysts note, is a clear signal Israel will continue its campaign regardless of international pressure. The question now is whether Iran will retaliate openly or choose the path of covert warfare, cyberattacks, assassinations, or sabotage operations abroad. History suggests that Iran's response may come in unexpected forms, possibly targeting Israeli interests through third parties rather than launching a direct strike. As night falls across the Middle East, fears are rising that this new round of attacks could trigger a chain reaction, one that pulls regional powers into a broader confrontation. The United States, Russia, and China are all watching closely. Each has strategic interests in the region, and any escalation could ripple far beyond Iran and Israel. If confirmed, these strikes also represent one of the boldest Israeli operations in recent memory, rivaling the legendary 1981 strike on Iraq's Osirak reactor and the 2007 attack on Syria's Al-Kibar nuclear site. Both operations changed the course of history by halting nuclear programs before they matured. Tonight, Israel may have attempted to repeat that legacy to stop Iran's nuclear ambitions before they cross the point of no return. But there's another side to this story. While Israel claims to be acting in defense, critics argue that these attacks could push Iran to accelerate its nuclear program even further. Some international observers fear that continued strikes might backfire, hardening Iran's resolve rather than weakening it. As the smoke clears over Natanz, the world waits for confirmation. Has Israel truly crippled Iran's nuclear program, or merely delayed the inevitable? For now, all we have are images, fiery craters, black smoke rising from the desert, and convoys of emergency vehicles racing toward heavily guarded compounds. Iran insists it remains strong. Israel insists it had no choice. And the rest of the world is left holding its breath. The coming days will reveal the truth, whether this was a single daring operation or the opening act of a much larger conflict. One thing is certain: the Middle East stands at the edge of a dangerous new chapter, and tonight's events could determine its future. We'll continue to follow this developing story closely and bring you updates as they emerge. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.